it to guide a conversation, because as they say, you cannot question senior officers. So, sir, I'm not here to question at all. So we'll guide a conversation in which we highlight that at the most apex level of the Indian Army, as a chief of army staff with so much of experience, right through the era of his education, coming to field, and then taking on the mantle as our chief, there has been a lot of experience, a lot of emotions, a lot of joys and regrets. So I'm only going to bring those out, and that will happen in the course of the event today. So, sir, let's start with the first one because they are young minds. How many of you want to join the armed forces? Really? Good. So, sir, you came to this forces many decades ago, sir. Was it career option? Was it passion? Was it a mix or something else?
Okay, before that, Rohit, thank you very much for getting me here. And this is something which the questions are very close to heart, especially when you know that you have to transcend to the next, that is retiring. So before that, may I ask how many are claiming to be Generation Z out of this, the children? Okay, good. How many are Generation Alpha? Millennial? So for the information of all those who have not raised their hands, you belong to Generation Z. Okay? So we'll have a discussion as per that. So to begin with the question which has been asked, whether this was your career option or passion option. Uh, your upbringing at the childhood makes a major difference. And the environment in the house of your parents, brothers, your cousins, uncles, all this makes a major difference. So in my case also, if I can say that the two famous epics, that is Mahabharata and Ramayana, were something which were always discussed in the house. And it so happened that the World War II stories, 62 war, 65 war, all those also got discussed. There's a movie Hakikat, I don't know how many of you would have seen. It is the not 95 version, it is 64 version of Dharmendra, where is the valor of the soldiers for show. So overall, if you see during the childhood, it so happened that we were always talking about the soldiering in different form. And of course, when I went to Sainik school, like General Raj Shukla sitting here, that time you saw the uniform and you fell in love with the uniform. For the reasons it came with a certain additives in terms of discipline, leadership, and sense of purpose. So by the time you joined NDA, you were very clear that your work and life balance has converted to work and life fusion. And that's how it became passion.
So the other thing which intrigues a lot of young people is your snap in an academy in a passing out parade, and you're doing push-ups that time, and people were commenting on both ways. But you've been a physical fitness freak, if I may call, because you were a blue in India, which we didn't like too much to reach that level, but you reached, and you still continue to have a very solid physical regimen. It takes a lot of discipline. It takes a lot of perseverance, because even if I get a membership today, I don't go to that hotel, for 10 days together, so I'm traveling somewhere else. But you are doing it every day. So what is this secret of continuation, and what kind of a message should these young citizens carry in terms of maintaining a healthy body?
So Rohit, first of all, I know that you have been cross-country captain of Juliet 87 NDA squad. So I've also been the PT captain of Charlie 65. And how the leadership, trust, and physical fitness combines together. When I was the PT captain in the National Defense Academy, there is something called as cartwheel. You will do Akshay Kumar doing it best. And thereafter, there's a somersault when you take a roll in the air without any support. But when I used to stand in front, my fifth termers used to always volunteer and do that. So the leadership and trust also comes along with the physical fitness. In military, your routine may look fixed, but it's not fixed. When you go for operation, you don't know when will you come back, at 1 o'clock or 4 o'clock in the morning. But when you have to tell your soldiers that you have to remain physically fit, when a doctor advises you to remain physically fit, if he is slightly on the heavy side, will you agree with him? Will you trust him? The answer is generally doubtful. But when a leader tells you that you have to remain physically fit and he has to lead from the front, definitely you will do that. And that is why it is important for a leader to always remain physically fit. But what is more important is that physical fitness is kind of a saving bank account. Because when you do the physical exercise, you have the emotional stability. You know how to take decisions under duress, under physical duress. And in our time, whenever you used to be under stress or having some slight cough and cold, we used to go for run and everything became all right. We never realized what has happened. But today you have to make choices. Whether you want to, if you're under stress, you want to take a heavy food, or you want to go through the reels, scan through the reels, or do the physical. My recommendation is go for the physical. And if you're fond of earphone, do use it. But always only put music, instrumental in that. So that the physical comes along with something called as meditation dhyana. So when you walk also, you're doing walking meditation. Remember in life that lot of issues which you are wanting the answer, if you do meditation while doing physical exercise, you'll always get the answer. Thank you.
We have Vice Admiral from DGFMS. The bill of the country, 2018 estimate of World Bank, is about 5 billion US dollars spent on illness treatments. So if you can avoid that, I think that's the only thing you can carry, but it takes a lot of discipline there as well. Sir, in Maslow's theory, which was taught to us in NDA, and these young kids are probably more aware. So there is a self-actualization period which comes with certain amount of age and experience. And dare I say, sir, not only you, we are reaching that stage as well, apart from the other basic needs. How do you take out time, discipline yourself, and what are the avenues in which you seek this actualization as a military leader, sir, at this level?
So firstly, I'll talk about two terms, self-esteem and self-actualization. So as far as self-esteem is concerned, we look at honor, reputation at our age. The basic needs we don't look at, because we are living with our soldiers, and the soldiers' basic need is simple food, simple living. And that is what we follow when we are with the soldiers. So basic needs we never look at. We look at honor, reputation, and if I can say that, the trust of the soldier on me. If he trusts me, if he gives me that recognition, I think we achieved our aim. Coming on to the self-actualization. What is self-actualization? Self-actualization is when you realize what is your actual potential, the highest potential, the optimal potential, and then you desire to reach out to that level. And that is what is something important, because when you have to reach out to that level, it is not individual. You are heading a team. You are a leader. So you have to be leading that kind of a team. So whatever you wish to, your people should accept you as a leader. The second thing is harbinger for change. Today, the military is changing so fast. The modernization is taking place so fast. A technology becomes stale within 18 months. If you have to adapt to that kind of a technology, how are you going about it? Therefore, the ripples of change have to be felt at every level, starting from a soldier to a major general till a general like me. That rhythm which is to be there, if you are able to ensure that rhythm is continuous in nature, going up and coming back, I think you have achieved your aim in self-actualization. But Maslow added some more term. Talked about the third term or level higher is self-transcendence. Self-transcendence, when you leave all this and then you look at the big picture, whole of nation approach. How are you going to converge this complete India as a nation to fight a war? How you're going to establish the interlinkages? How you're going to provide the strategic guidance to the decision makers? Those are the big things what we are looking at, while making sure that your halo effect and the reputation which you have made over a period of time comes down to a soldier or to a common citizen who is part of the whole of nation approach whenever you go for the next operations or war.
So more than 4 decades, nearly 5 counting the training period and schooling as well in a military fashion, must have brought a lot of incidents where you felt a lot of joy, maybe a regret, not more. Would like to describe anything, sir, because the experience matters. Because I could ask you any other question as well, but I think any experience you want to narrate for joy and maybe one regret if you have.
See, I think the father always feels happy when the small baby starts recognizing the father. Mother, of course, most of the time. But father, when he starts recognizing or she starts recognizing, I think father is the most happiest person. And I think that's what happens with a military leader. So as far as we are concerned, the military leaders, the joy comes when you join the unit for the first time. Everybody is apprehensive, how will this soldier, this officer would be. And when you come back from an operation and you find a flicker in the eye of the soldier that, look, I acknowledge you or I accept you. And he says, come, let's have meal together. When the soldier offers you food, I think that's the biggest joy you can ever have. The second thing is when he has the blind trust on you. You have seen the Kargil operations and all that. Why a soldier walks into the hail of bullets when you know the bullets are coming from the other side? It's the trust on the leader. It is the faith on the camaraderie which is there, the team spirit which is there. I'll give you example, a peacetime example. Our unit was mobilized and sent 24 hours to camp somewhere for a testing purposes. And then after 24 hours was told, look, you people must be tired, so we'll give you 48 hours to carry out your annual inspection. Moment my commander used the word tired, I said, no, we are not tired, we are soldiers. We'll do it in 24 hours. And I came back to my unit, I said, look, this is the challenge I have given. The soldier said, once you have given this challenge, there's just no issue. For 48 hours they were awake, but they made sure when the commander came, everything was spick and span. So that is the kind of a joy which gives you. And this is the same thing when you carry out an operation and the soldier sits with you and hugs you. Look, we have been successful. There is no hierarchy that time. He considers you as your colleague, as your comrade. I think that is the biggest thing. As for the regrets are concerned, regrets will also be there because in the 42 years, or if you start my uniform age from 9 years, there will be some regrets. But of course, you feel sad when your comrades leave you early because God decides to call them. When I was leading the operation, I lost my own company commander. The second issue is, soldier is always short of time, not in the unit, but talking to the near and dear ones, meeting them near and dear ones. In high altitude area, most of the time, soldiers have even missed their weddings. That has also been there. And even the birth of their child, etc. This is something which we have been working on, but it's beyond at times because whether God is supreme. So we work within that. But these regrets will always be there with us. But what is more important, a soldier joins together to celebrate the joy and also overcome the regret while they are in the team. So when you are in team, you just forget about everything. It's something like a doctor, when he is in the hospital, he loses a patient. But when he goes home, he picks up a baby, like, oh my God, that's a source of light, source of joy. That is how a soldier does it. He receives a phone, something has gone wrong. But the moment he meets 3 peers, forget about it. Let's enjoy. So that is how the life is all about.
That's military life because unlike, and I will say this because I'm supposed to say what I want to say. You heard about 4 or 5 years ago, 6 years ago, some politician made a remark that, they're getting paid to die. They're getting paid for this, right? You must appreciate the humane angle of how our soldiers at the grassroots level, including military commanders, how they live their life and how they go through. And coming from a chief, that humane part must tell you that if he's talking about it, what is the actual emotional content of that happening at the lowest level and how people feel, and especially with this transparency and fast movement of information today. Coming to another aspect, sir, is young people here, so they must get excited what we want from them. So these days, digital battlefield, AI, machine learning, and there are so many app creators here amongst us. What could be the sort of synergy between education institutes, students? How can they contribute to our story as a partner? If something on those lines is which excites the young minds.
So let me firstly concede and accept that Generation Z is at least 10 times better than the generation of ours. They are much more adaptable. They have a better risk appetite. They are socially aware, globally connected, and digitally fluent. If these are the qualities we are looking at, then definitely who is slow in change? As you go higher in the age bracket, the adaptability becomes slightly difficult. Therefore, today the military can outsource so many things to you. Let's look at the domains. Earlier we used to talk about the three domains: land, air, and maritime. Today we talk about cyber, space, cognitive. Others, so many can be added: electromagnetic spectrum, EW, etc., etc. But what is more important is that when from three we have come to six domains, who are the people who can interlink these domains? We are talking about, Indian Army is talking about the year of 26 and 27 as year of networking and data centricity. We have started the internship and we had 1 lakh application only for 100 vacancies. Today, we have opened up all the army-based workshops, all our category A establishments, and so many headquarters for the internship of the children. Because half of the time, they come out with a simplistic solution. In the battlefield, we require battlefield equalizer. We don't require tank versus tank, David versus Goliath. If you give me a simple solution to a difficult problem, I think you are the ones who is going to win the battle for us. Same is the case for India is known for low cost, high technology. So always the innovation and jugaad has come from the younger generation. On the other side, if you see during Ops Sindoor, the complete civil defense exercises which were carried out in India were carried out through the NCC cadets. You will also be playing a role in forward areas wherever required. I'll give you example. The Chief Justice of Jammu and Kashmir, who retired last year, Mr. Tashi, he mobilized the complete Leh and Kargil people to carry the ammunition for the soldiers during Kargil operations in 99. So, sky is the limit as far as your potential is concerned. And we will request you to volunteer for whatever you want. We have everywhere possibilities for you. If you are an entrepreneur, we will come to you for the software solution, hardware solutions. And if you have you got any idea of any kind in the man management, artificial intelligence, or in technology for that matter, we have 16 technology clusters. We would always welcome you to help us in that. Now coming on to the cognitive warfare. Cognitive warfare, which has been indirectly hinted by him, today there is so much of fake news. So you are the ones who is going to differentiate between the truth and fake news. India today, the negative news travels in, let's say, 10 minutes, positive news takes 100 hours. So you are the ones who will make sure that the positive news takes 10 minutes and negative news gets stopped at the same level. It's only possible once you and me trust each other and we work together in unison. Thank you.
So time is a bird, it flies, it doesn't return at the same spot many times as well. Time is flying, and soon, sad to say, but he will have to, transcend to the next level beyond the armed forces. What are you looking at, sir, to contribute towards our nation?
So Rohit, I think when we reach at the level of colonel, I think from that time only we realize that it is the time to pay back to the society which has catapulted you to such a level. Because it is time for you to say thanks, appreciate, and return in whatever you have been able to gain during these times. So what is more important is that the mentorship. This is the time that people like me will be mentor to the serving and to the civil. We have a lot of stories, experiences, lessons. But the only thing is, be watchful. The younger generation does not have at that time of 18 minutes also. Their patience is of, say it in 6 minutes. So what is important for us to say in as short form as possible and as understood by them. This is something which is important. Second thing is reverse migration. As you are aware, in India, lot many places people are moving from tribal areas, villages to the towns for better prospects. So I am looking at, I belong to a state called as Madhya Pradesh. I am looking at working for the tribals so that I am able to ensure the reverse migration. Whatever the facilities which are required, can I take to them so that they don't have move out. Like Mr. Modi says, Prime Minister ji, that The border villages are your first villages, not the last villages. So if they're the first villages, why not to go there and see the growth centers there instead of having somewhere in the center? This is what something we are looking at. Of course, which I have said earlier also, I'm also planning to open a cafe called as Ahista Zindagi. Why? Because today, everybody is moving so fast that you're getting burnt out. You do not take time to stop, decide, make choices, and thereafter move on those selective choices only. So I am looking at that people will come there, relax, and free consultation, no fees charge, only coffee. That's all. And that is how the aim is that we'll have a good library, people can read, interact with each other, and when you be with the team, you'll always find solutions will come. But when you're in isolation and you are only under the sharan of Google Baba, you may not be able to get the realization what you're looking at. Thank you.
That was very nicely put, sir. I think the migration rate which you're talking about is 4.2%, affecting a lot of sectors, including agriculture in the future. We don't want to become Israel of 1970s. But since you said the attention span is very less, sir, one last shot. By the time you can pass the mics to the young people, objective questions, sir. And that's a regret which the nation probably has. It's not that regret, it's a positive regret. If Pakistan gives a chance again for continuation of Op Sindoor, will we hit them hard or harder? Objectives. And if anything we don't know about Op Sindoor of the last series, anything which you want to divulge if you are in that mood, sir? Anything specific which nobody knows?
I think that's in the domain of classified information. But I think if you have heard me earlier, what I have said that Pakistan, if it continues to harbor terrorists and operate against India, then they have to decide whether they want to be part of the geography or history or not. Thank you.
Well, that's very nicely put. So geography and history are two subjects very close to at least most of us ex-NDS because we're forced to read that as well. But coming to questions, children, I would request you, only youth, no media person to ask any questions. The youth, raise your hand. I give you opportunity, your name, school name, and question. No advice, no bhumika. Bhumika means, background of the question. I'll go start with you.
My name is Guransh. I am from Maxwell Dhaka. So my question is that if in a chain of command, like suppose the main officer cannot take the decision if he's no more, unfortunately. So who takes the decision? Who takes the next decision?
Okay, I'll take 3 questions at a time.
Okay, next question. That young smiling girl, yes.
My name is Divangi and I'm from Manav Rachna International School, Sector 46, Gurugram. And my question is, so is there, there are situations where decisions are instant, but is there any situation where you took a decision, you regretted at the point of time, but later on felt that, wait, okay, decision was good?
Sit. You next.
Okay, so I'm Arav from Ryan International School, and my question is, the older generation was nationalist, the older generation had a pride for their nation, but as the generation are becoming younger and the new generation is coming, they are more of adaptability based, more of opportunity based. So how would you make them go in military and serve the nation?
We'll take one more because the first was objective type. So when somebody falls, the next chain in command takes over. So one more question.
So, with the indigenization coming into picture, how do you see the roles of combat are evolving for both the special forces units and the regular infantry? And according to you, for aspirants who are aiming for combat roles, how should they balance learning from the past experiences and the future modern warfare that is coming?
Thank you for those 3 questions. I will request the chief to please take it on.
Okay, the first question, what I say is that in case the leader expires, he dies during the combat, then who takes on the charge? So as far as the Indian Army is concerned, there are always layers which are there. Leadership is at every level. A rifleman is commanded by a Nayak, Nayak is commanded by a Havaldar, then a Naib Subedar, Subedar, Captain, Major. So there's always a leadership which is there. And we always have number 2 or nominated number 2. Even today, if something happens to me, my vice chief is always there. That is how we look at. So there is no dearth of leadership initiative which is there. And it actually happened that, like I told you, when I lost my company commander, that's the time I was at the base, and the company commander was on top. So immediately the senior JCO, the senior most JCO, the Subeda, he was the one who took charge till the time we came up, which was about 2 hours journey in any case. So that is how the leadership is something which is in our blood, and a rifleman also is taught about the leadership and taking the self-initiative. That is how we go about it. I'll take on the question of new generation, which is believer of adaptability and opportunism. So this is something, not that it was not existing earlier, and there is something different. Your upbringing always gives you some principles. It always gives you some values. And when anything comes, it's something like a rupee lying on the ground. What you do? Firstly, you have to see, kahan gira hai, kisse gira hai, kiske liye hai. There are so many people who pick up that coin and give it to the nearest beggar or someone who is wanting it. Somebody will pick up that and give it to the mandir somewhere. So opportunism is your own definition. Opportunism is for the self-good or for the larger good of the society or for the team which you are leading. So opportunism always has a different definition. So if you follow your principles and values, you will prove to be a good leader, and your opportunism would be for the benefit of the society. The third question is about the indigenization. Is that correct? Indigenization and how the security forces are adapting towards it. So what does the indigenization mean? It means that the best possible weaponry, best possible technology should be provided to the soldier to fight the battle. Therefore, has the indigenization taken place 100%? It's a gradual process. Why? Because for a soldier, whatever is the best will be provided. Now we have reached a very high standard of indigenization. Why? Because the best weaponry of a particular kind is being manufactured in India. There are changes as far as the present day battlefield is concerned, the future battlefield is concerned. The present battlefield, if you see, is more related to the first 3 domains: land, maritime and air. Now these 3 domains have to give space to the different 3 domains: cyber, space and the cognitive. But it doesn't mean the first 3 domains will go away, because in Indian Army we look at all the 5 generations of warfare. The 5 generations of warfare, the trench warfare, the ditch comband we have in Punjab and other places. Then we have artillery, we have maneuver warfare with the tanks. Then we have the rockets and missiles, or the hybrid warfare where you have the so many internal security issues which is there. Now in this you also have to include artificial intelligence, quantum. So a soldier in this mind has to put in all these things together. So the future warfare is going to be more challenging, because all this has to be put in somebody's brain. And your generation will definitely be better off than us. Because in our case, artificial intelligence, we knew the definition, but you know the application. That's the biggest difference.
One last
I think
question.
there is one question which got
the
left
lady,
out.
the lady here.
There's
Please.
a question which got left out. Could you
Smiling,
please repeat
smiling
again?
girl. What was your question? Yeah, in haste and any regrets.
I think it's again go into the private classified information, but maybe during the tea time I'll tell you about Op Sindoor also. Thank you.
One last question from the principal of grads here.
Hello, madam.
I'm principal of Grads International School, Little Noida, and asked Bahai School also. So, sir, my question is, because my husband was in NTPC and we are posted many places. So, in small places, smaller cities like Chhattisgarh, in Bihar, I've seen students are really inspired to join army, defense. But here, many of my students have joined defense. But here, whenever last 20 years I've been working in NCR, these students are not that they are not very willing to join the Indian defense. So how do we motivate here to join and inspire them, motivate them to take up? Because it's in my time, I wanted to join, but I could not get in, medical, isme milane. So, but it was a glory. It was a really pride. But here, children do not see pride in joining defense. How do we do it? Please suggest us, please, sir.
Okay. It's a very good question. And let me tell you that most of these schools look at what will you join, what will you do, and what is the benchmark required in terms of studies. But what is important is that it's not only the ability we need to look into. Before that, there are two primary conditions if you want to join military: the attitude and adaptability. That's what is something important. Because to become successful in life, and successful life when you become is when you self-realize yourself. I think that's what is success. So when you look at all these schools which teach you about the attitude, about the national patriotism and nationalism, like now we have the Op Sindoor chapter included in class 8th. So this is how we are looking at. So when we realize that how this nation is going to be secure, and this security is not only by the uniform people like us, it can be by the cyber warriors also. We talked about the whole of nation approach. So firstly, what is important is that if your attitude and adaptability is right, ability will come automatically. Ability will gives you only to rise up one stage, but attitude and adaptability allows you to rise 10 stages. That is something which we need to understand. And related to this is that we are also opening up as a military to tell our stories, to reach out to you. And you also have to reach out to us. Earlier, if you see from the independence time, that there used to be a kind of a barrier. You cannot enter the cantonment. You cannot meet those people. Soldiers were not allowed to meet everyone. But today, we have in social media, when we have the soldiers talking about their valor, Op Sindoor valor is being openly talked about. So now is the communication, two-way communication has started. Once the two-way communication has started, you will find more people would like to do it. But of course, who just want to dream, but don't want to execute, they will have to carry out a self-introspection. Thank you.
Just on a lighter note, ma'am, just remove that 800 options of career which you show to people. We only had 4 or 5. So just on a lighter note. So thank you very much, sir, for your presence and interacting so freely with the children as well, and for your time. Over to you, Anjali.
Thank you very much.